Hey, I'm a gun guy on the internet, and I post videos, talk about gun stuff, and occasionally complain about gun rights. And I try to get as many likes and views as possible so that people think I'm important, because I have an elevated opinion of my self-worth. Schmicky with carrytrainer.com. I'm not busting anybody's chops because I am and have been guilty of what I just said. Seeing a lot of stuff right now where people are giving up on America, telling me they're just going to sit and watch it burn, like this fire I've got going in here. They're going to sit and watch it burn. How dare you? If that's how you feel, you let our founders, the men and women that came before us, carry a load on your behalf that you've lived thus far in a free and safe and wonderful place that is to this day the best option to live a dream, to live on a planet where most people are fighting for water and food. Who owes you something? No one. Something I talk about often, this is Mickey Shook with carrytrainer.com, Drew behind the editing desk and cameras, is our role as citizens, what it meant historically and what I feel it means today. Oftentimes, we talk about our founders and we put them into two categories. I see this often. One category, we make them deities. We make them gods. They were infallible. In the other category, we fixate on the things that we don't like. They were slaveholders. They did some underhanded, crooked stuff that maybe history doesn't tell as a whole. Maybe there's an in-between point. Conversation's not about them, though. It's about you. It's about what your and I role is today, yours and mine. In this community of people, I think like you and me, that champion this liberty, champion the Bill of Rights, champion gun rights, there seems to be this thread now. I don't mean a thread online. I mean a thread of thought that voting doesn't matter. Anytime I bring this up, and I'm sure in the comment section, some of you are going to put your opinion down, and I want you to. But folks tell me it doesn't matter. I voted. I got this crap in my state or my city or on a federal level that I don't want. Well, it doesn't mean that your vote didn't matter. It meant people like you didn't win. A couple thoughts on this. One, I don't know everything, but I have spent years involved in politics. I was the vice chair of a political party. My job was to help raise money. I wasn't paid for any of it, completely volunteer. My job was to help raise money to further party politics. Truth be told, I don't like party politics. I'd love to get rid of it, but humans are cliquey people, and it's what we kind of do. We find people that like the same sports team, the same beer, they like the same firearms trainer, they like the same type of church, etc. We humans do that. But I have some knowledge on this. I help run campaigns, won many more than we ever lost. In fact, very few losses on a local and state level, and help some people on a national level. So I'm not talking about this from some dude that shoots guns and then has some opinions because I have opinions. I'm talking about it because I did it for years. Took a lot of time away from my family, which they'll tell you, to do things like develop strategies, anything from meetings sitting at night to dinners, going for walks and parades, going door to door to help people. And that's what I kind of want to talk to you about. What is our role? We have decided now that this beautiful life, albeit imperfect, that we have here in America is somehow owed to us. Does corruption happen? Heck yeah. Does voter fraud happen? Of course. How many of you have sat through a recount? I mean, where you sat and you watched every ballot in a race recounted? Raise your hand. Oh, I have. Yeah, I have sat for days while thousands and thousands and thousands of ballots were recounted. I sat as a witness to make sure, one, that no funny business happened, but also I wanted to see the process. I wanted to see, how is this done? Does fraud happen? Of course it does. Anything that humans get involved in, somebody's going to do some underhanded stuff. But what if I told you that I think a lot of people don't win because there's not folks out there working? I'm going to give you a point in case. I have a good friend. His name's Joe Dana. Joe didn't know I was going to talk about him. In fact, I didn't know I was going to talk about Joe until right now. Joe is run for sheriff of Harris County, Texas. Harris County is where Houston is located. The current sheriff down there was helped put into power by none other than Hillary Clinton when she ran for office. Money from the big Democratic machine helps fuel smaller races. The Republicans do it as well. They help fund these smaller races because then on a more localized level, you have people that are out there championing, that's a funny word, your cause. Joe should win. He's got the skills. He's been in law enforcement for years, but there is more money, more power that has been put behind the other guy. How do we change that? We change that when we change the energy being expended. If you and I were going to have a race and we were going to move lumber, right? We were going to move lumber. There was a pile of firewood and a pile of firewood, same weight, same amount of pieces. And we said, let's see who can move that wood faster. And you went and you got 5 friends, and I went and I got 10 friends. Who do you think is going to move the wood faster? In this analogy, votes are not the wood. It is a marketing. It's a sales campaign. Election for all of time has been a sales campaign. If you run for president of your class in 8th grade, it's sales and marketing. Hey man, vote for me. I'm Mickey. I'm going to be the class president. I'm going to make sure that we get better pop or soda, depending on where you're from, or Coke in the vending machines, right? You're selling people something to make their life, their time, their experience better. Our ability to touch people in a meaningful way isn't just saying go vote. The campaigns that we won, we did with money, but more importantly, we did it with the work of good people. I just shared a couple days ago, a friend of ours from our community, his name was Bill. Bill was a father, grandfather, great-grandfather, and recently became a great-great-grandfather. Bill passed away. Lovely man. I don't want to talk too deeply about it because I don't want to cry while I'm filming this video. He was a wonderful man, and I'm going to miss him. But Bill was one of the guys that got on the phone, went and talked to his neighbors, and he said, hey, can you help? I want you to support this person for this county board position, for the state's attorney position, for the sheriff's position, for this state rep position, etc. I want your help. And here's why. It's a sales pitch. But it's not nonsense, right? You're not selling people some BS insurance or some crap like that, or extended car warranty. You're selling them a human that you believe in. Well, how would you know whether or not to do this? Because you, like Bill did, went out and met this person. If you went and met my friend Joe Dana, or you talked to Joe, you'd say, geez, I wish I lived in Harris County because I'd vote for Joe. If you knew some of these people and you sat and had coffee with them, you'd say, I want to help. So here's the next pushback. It doesn't matter. I've helped people. I've helped them. I helped Joe Dana. I helped this guy or this girl, and they got in office and they didn't do anything. Well, there might be 100 other people in local government around them that are against them. It's a long game. It's a cultural game. I use the word game in sales because that's what I look at in my head. It's changing pieces on a board, and they're always in flux. This is why things like a Supreme Court justice or a state Supreme Court justice or a federal judge or even a local judgeship is so important. One, these people stay in office a long time, but then that person has influence on who replaces them. So this is a long-term strategy, a long-term game. Too often we're looking, and I'm hearing from a lot of gun dudes, there's a lot of channels out there where people are happy to tell you it's all effed. It's going to come down to violence. Really? You're willing to talk about violence when you've not done any of this work? Make no mistake, maybe you served. I didn't serve in the military. I appreciate and respect everybody that does. Maybe you did that service and you think, I did that service, this is good. Unfortunately, and I'm not talking arrogantly or disrespectfully, that's not enough. That service does one thing. It's kind of like if you've got chores to do at your house and you're doing yard work and you're like, I did the yard work, but you didn't do the dishes, or you didn't go grocery shopping, or you didn't vacuum or clean the toilets. All of those things have to be done. And you're saying if I worked as a cop or a fireman or some other service job like that, if your argument is I did that, so I'm good, that's like saying I only cut the grass at home. And maybe you're tired. That's the problem. We've got too many guys, mostly guys, talking about the ultimate end solution to tyranny, where they have not tried any of these things. So you showed up at a rally. Big deal. I helped run the rally in Illinois Gun Owner Lobby Day. It's a big event. Forever, it was the biggest event of its kind. I think Virginia a couple years ago upped us on their one event, and that's good. Those events are sales pitches. Why do I say that? What it tells people at a governmental level, and now think about the mindset here. I'm trying to give you guys some insights so when you see me comment online, you don't just think, oh, he wants me to go cast a ballot. The insight is now some state rep or some state senator says, holy crap, these people have enough motivation, they've got enough collaboration, they've got enough people working together, cohesive effort, that they can F me up. They can change my job. And that's something that I used when I ran the non-for-profit, the Right to Carry Association. We would do that. I still do that. Sir, madam, I don't like what you're doing. If you don't change it, we're going to remove you from office. But you can't just say that and then not do it. It requires work. I'm tired of the attitude of people in this gun community. First of all, I'm not in the gun community. I'm an American. I've got kids, grandkids, brothers, sisters, mother, father, etc. I care about America. I don't care about gun rights. I don't just care about free speech. I don't care about Fourth Amendment rights. I care about all of it, right? I care about all of it. And you can't, it's not right. You can fixate on one thing, and in doing so, you miss the big picture. What's important? It's more than just shooting a gun, right? And I know a lot of you get this. Get behind some candidates. Run for office. The process and how that's done isn't hard. Maybe you don't think you're good enough. I bet you are. I tell this story often, and I'll leave us with this. 56 men got together in Philadelphia and put pen to paper, and they put their name, a blood oath. They signed a blood oath. They said, our sacred honor is on this document. That document was the Declaration of Independence. That document was signed on August 6th, 1776 is actually the final day. And 56 dudes put their name on there and they sent it to the king. Now there's a lot of stories about what happened. The only one that matters is that they did it. They knew some very bad things could happen to them. Many of them never saw, in fact, all of them never saw the beauty that came from it. But one thing is certain. If you look back and you think those men were perfect, you're wrong. If you look back and think that they handed you something that required no work, you're wrong. If you look back and think that they think or thought everybody should be able to do everything and there should be no laws and any law is tyranny, you're wrong. Those guys were good at making laws. You know what else they were good at? Studying history, philosophy, literature, art, science. They were good at communicating. They were good at discourse. They were good at arguing, sitting down and saying, I disagree and here's why. I agree and here's why. They argued. They fought. Some of them had duels with each other. Look up old Aaron Burr. So the idea that they were wonderful and perfect is wrong. But what they did was they had this common goal, this quest for liberty, for freedom, to create this place where you and I can have this conversation today. If you want to change the world, a gun is not how it's done. Sorry. The phrase, a pen is mightier than the sword, was not said for no reason. The gun is the ultimate solution. Violence is the ultimate solution when there is no other course. I have seen very few people, especially in this sphere, in this space, actually do the work. In fact, I have seen very few talk about it, and this is not me patting myself on the back. I try to talk about it. I challenge people to talk about it. I would love to have some common allies that we can work. If you live in Idaho, call me. Let's help people get elected. If you live in Ohio, call me. Let's help get people elected. If you live in California, call me. Let's help get people elected. But if your course of action is to tell me why it's hard, why it doesn't work, get out of my way, because all you're doing is wasting my time and yours. I'm not interested. The load of liberty that those men piled into a wheelbarrow in 1776 and began to carry forward on the timeline that brought us here today, it's got to be picked up and carried by somebody else. Somebody has to grab the handles of that wheelbarrow and pick it up. Who is it? If not you, if not me, then who? Is there somebody else? Are they hiding in a house somewhere? Are they waiting for the voice of God or the universe to call them? If not you, then who? Look up John Glover. Look up Colonel Henry Knox. Look up these men that we talk about on this channel and look where they came from. Colonel Glover was a fisherman. He was a fisherman. That without him, there would have been no revolution. We would have lost. Look up Knox. He was a bookseller. Without Knox, there would have been no revolution. We would have lost. We wouldn't be here today as the Americans that we are. If your course of action is to immediately tell me why it's hard, you're not helping. You are, in fact, a wedge stopping the cogs, the machine, from moving forward. Find good candidates. Stand behind them, support them. Support them with your money, support them with your words, support them with your actions. Tirelessly work to get people elected. Joe Dana, I'm going to mention him again because I think we should be able to get this done. So you don't live in Harris County. Who cares? Share his message. Tell people that you know that live near Houston, Texas. Support this guy. If you have people that you know are running for office, let's put their name in the comments section. Is it just because you know them? No. Find honorable men and women and then share who they are. It's just like if you like a good coffee shop, tell people about it, right? Support the people in that business. That is the sales and marketing side of this. All is not lost. What's lost is when you quit. All is not lost. Look at the battles that happened up to the time at Valley Forge. That winter where our soldiers, the folks defending the Republic, were freezing to death. They were clothesless, foodless, shoesless, dying of disease, starvation, freezing to death. You think they didn't think all was lost? It is all a game in the sense that he who holds the key, the scepter, the crown, did a better job of sales and marketing. If you don't like that analogy, it is what it is. Elections have always been and always will be a contest of who can touch more people in a meaningful way to get them to go out and do the work. Obama was great at it. I live in Chicago. I'd met him numerous times when he was in state government. You endear people to your cause. What are you willing to give in return for the liberty that you desire, for the freedom to raise your kids unfettered by more laws, the ability to put a chicken coop in your backyard without government telling you what to do? What are you willing to give in return for that? These people several hundred years ago swore an oath, a blood oath. And now what do? We share stuff on Facebook. Believe in yourself. That is what the American way is. It is belief in ourself, in our personal power to be able to affect change in the world around us by affecting change in our own life. Just got to start with you. That same blood that courses through the veins of those now deceased men that signed that declaration, is the same red energy force that's in your veins, in your arteries, that pumps through your heart. It's the blood of patriots that's in you. I'm not talking about violence. I am talking about utilizing your personal power to affect change in the world around you. Live it, do it, be about it. Shoot me a message in the comments. Email us at training@carrytrainer.com if you've got some insights, if you've got some questions, if you need some help. We can do this. Don't quit. Fight on. Don't be a dickhead. Tell somebody you love them.
Brandishing is probably our top claim. We get more claims for brandishing than any other kind of incident. It usually goes one of two ways. We get the call that I was involved in a road rage, or somebody was threatening, menacing me in some way, and I displayed my firearm and the threat dissipated. I've called law enforcement, they're on the way, I need representation. Or the one is harder to deal with is when we get the call and he says, I was involved in a road rage last week.
Oh, God.
I displayed my firearm, the threat dissipated, but now the police are knocking on my door wanting to know what I did. In law enforcement, the first person that calls 911 is viewed as the victim. What happens, road rager has called 911 and said, hey, this guy pointed a gun at me. Now we're behind the eight ball when it comes to offering coverage.
Sure. Because that guy's now saying,